Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. This is episode one. Oh my gosh, second time I've done that. Episode number 9, season 1. Today we're going to be talking about how to invest $1,000. So, stumble upon your grandma dies, unfortunately, and you inherit a lump sum of 1 grand, or you do a yard sale and you actually do pretty good on your yard sale and sell $1,000 worth of stuff, which on that kind of day would be really, really, really good. But how do you invest? How do you invest that kind of money in today's world? So we're going to talk about a few different items that you should probably look at. I'm not going to cover like what kind of sector or market you should go into, but more what kind of what would be good investment advice. So somebody earlier on my Twitter was talking about, or Periscope was talking about investing into cannabis stocks or marijuana stocks. And I said that I think that's a good idea because with the legalization, it's still a great idea. And if it does become legally federally, that'll really boost those stocks. However, because it's one stock, it's going to be a lot more risk. And so that's why I'm not recommending it for your first $1,000. So anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about 3 different things, and then we'll have a little bit of subtopics on those, and then we'll go into a little bit about those and all that kind of stuff. So first, if you have $1,000, you should be looking at ETFs. The ETFs are basically electronically traded funds. They're usually managed by a company. You're basically investing in multiple companies, so your portfolio will be more diversified, but it's only one stock. So for instance, I think there's the Vanguard 500 that does pretty good. It's beat the S&P 500. The average S&P 500 is about 7%. This thing, I think, beat it like 8 or 9%. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I remember watching on YouTube a couple months back. Some kind of like pop up or something that I watched, which is really good. That's something that you want to be in. Because it is beating the S&P 500. So if you were to invest in the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies, it's the top 500 companies, and then in different industries in those. Anyways, it would be great. But usually, so in 2016, we had I think a 14 or 16% return out of the S&P 500. So if you were investing only in the top 500 companies in their industries, then you would be doing very well off with $1,000. You would actually have $1,160. So yeah, ETFs. How do you specifically buy into ETFs? It's kind of weird. You have to get a platform or a broker, and really, to be honest, those can get expensive with only $1,000. So there's 3 different apps that I use that I would recommend based upon how much or how active you would like to be in the actual investing and trading process of those ETFs. So if you're lazy and you don't feel like working, you got Acorns. Acorns is a app that does everything by yourself or by itself. It's robotic. You would just put $1,000 forward. It would take that, split it up into different percentages, and then based upon what portfolio you picked, it would invest your $1,000 into 5 different ETFs, which is great. However, it's hard to pick your own ETFs, and that's why my favorite app is called Stash. It's similar to Acorns, but you can invest into your own ETFs. So there's about 30 or 40 different ETFs that you can look at and invest in. One specifically that I have had a 25% return on was called Defending America. You invest in companies like Boeing and other companies that are closely related to military development of aircraft and planes and submarines and all that kind of stuff. So, what the heck? Oh, somebody just sent me a message on. I don't even know what the heck is that. Sorry. Anyways, back to. Wow. Got distracted there for just a second. Yeah, so Stash, you can get better returns on there. Okay, going into the election, if you were like, Donald Trump's not going to win, and you bet on Hillary, sucks for you. But I bet on. I really didn't bet. I just know that the military, typically we always spend more on military every single year, so that's why I picked that. But that gives you more freedom to buy and sell those ETFs. So like, Defending America, I'm contemplating selling some to bring me back down to the percentage I want to be at, and then taking that 5% and reinvesting it back into a different ETF to kind of rebalance my account and keep on going like that. And lastly, that's going to be the most free app is Robinhood. Robinhood is a free trading app, and it has no trading fees, and it's only on your phone. It's mobile, but you can buy into those ETFs. The only thing about Robinhood is that you can't buy a percentage of their shares. So that's the only thing that I don't like about it, because if you got $1,000, you might only want to put a certain percentage into each ETF. Well, you're going to eventually run out of money, and you can't diversify like that. So say one's 60 and one's 40, you can't just like put 60 and then 60 to be half and half. You got to put 60 and 40, and then eventually wait until you get another 60, which would be 120, and then buy two more of those shares to equal 120 also. So it doesn't really make sense from a percentage standpoint, but definitely it gives you the most freedom. The next way that I would recommend investing $1,000 is by putting it into a business. One of my friends from middle school started a pest control business off of $1,000. His dad actually helped him and loaned him the $1,000 probably about 5-6 years ago, and now his business has about 10 different employees, and they're definitely creating waves in the San Diego area. So yeah, investing in a business, if it's, I would say not just like giving like your friend, hey, here's $1,000, I would like it back with interest. Sorry about that. But I think investing in yourself to start a business would be a good idea. It's only $1,000, so if you're out and you're young, like most people that are probably watching this are probably younger than 30. I would say that investing $1,000 into starting a business is never a bad idea. And if it doesn't work out, so what? You're at $1,000. You can make that back in 6 months. Most people. If you're 18, it might be a lot of money. If you're 16, it might be a lot of money. Next, you could do a certificate or a bond. These are going to have less return, so you could invest into either like a corporate bond or a government bond. A government bond is going to be about 3% return, so it's going to be about inflation. A corporate bond, you'll probably see there's ones that are like 20 to 30-year bonds that you can get about 15% return. But that money's going to be locked up for 15 or locked up for 20 years or so. So you got to take a gamble on whether you think that company is going to be there for that long, and then investing into that. However, you can sell your bonds short to someone else, but I don't have experience buying and selling bonds, so I don't know a whole lot, but that's another thing that you could do. You could also go and put it into a certificate of deposit at your bank. Most banks, I think, the going rate right now is like 2% for like 6 years or something. So that's probably, like, that'll definitely keep your money. The only thing with the certificate is it's locked up, and if you pull it out, you have to pay a penalty until that certificate matures. I know that one of the banks that I bank at did like a 3% return if you had automatic deposit. So I had one of those for a little bit. But majority of the time, you're going to see about 1 to 1.5% on a certificate of deposit, which will actually help you lose money in the long run because inflation is always going to be around 3%. And lastly, all I got to say is just do something. Like, literally, if you got $1,000 and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, you need to do something with it, because if you wait until like, if you just wait, I'll just put it that way. If you wait, that money's going to disappear. You'll go buy the cheeseburger, you'll go buy the In-N-Out burger, you'll go buy the Frosty Shake, you'll go buy the Slurpee, you'll go buy the soda. Next thing you know, you'll be down to 800, and so on and so forth until you're back down to about $200 and you're like, where the heck did all my money go? And it's like, yeah, you didn't do anything. So you have to do something with that. You have to invest it. I would say if you're just a young investor, put it in a CD for a year. Let it sit. That way you can't pull it out. But I would say start considering investing into the stock market. Start looking at investing into ETFs. Maybe get with a financial planner and talk about your future. Yeah, you might be 19, 20, and who really cares about your future, right? Who really cares about how much money you're going to have when you're 70 years old? But that's the best time to start is when you're 19, 18 years old. So that's all I'm saying is that do something with it. Don't just let it sit there and dwindle, because that will happen. I promise. So anyways, wrap it up real quick. Make sure if you're $1,000, go ahead and buy into ETFs. Looking to starting your own business. And it's never a bad idea to do just a certificate of deposit, a savings bond, or a corporate bond. And lastly, you could just deposit it into your savings account and at least draw some interest. But you have to do something. Anyways, go ahead and subscribe up there. Be sure to check out my other video on Facebook, whether it's still relevant or not, and my other cool video right there. And until next time, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.